We already know that a clause contains a subject and a verb, and that a clause can be a main clause or a subordinate clause. Let's now see if we can identify main clauses and subordinate clauses in a range of sentences. Take a look at this example. Is the underlined section a main clause or a subordinate clause? I love chocolate cake, although I don't like chocolate bars. Let's start by reading the underlined section out loud to see if it makes sense by itself. I love chocolate cake. Well, that sounds fine, so this must be a main clause. Here's another. I ride my bike every day, even when it's raining. Again, we'll read the underlined section out loud to see how it sounds. Even when it's raining. This isn't a main clause, as it doesn't make sense when read out loud. We can therefore say that it's a subordinate clause. Okay, let's have a look at another type of question. This time we're asked to underline the subordinate clause in the sentence. Ben loves running in races, although he's not very fast. It's probably best to start by finding the main clause, that is, the clause that would make sense by itself. Here it's Ben loves running in races, so that's the main clause. So what's the subordinate clause? Well, the subordinate clause won't make sense by itself. Instead, it's dependent upon the main clause for it to have meaning. In this sentence, the subordinate clause is, although he's not very fast. Notice how the subordinate clause includes the conjunction that introduces the clause. In this case, the word although. Identifying main and subordinate clauses is easy, but it's probably easier to start by finding the main clause. That's the clause that makes sense by itself. And then to find the subordinate clause. That's the clause that does not make sense by itself. Remember, conjunctions that introduce subordinate clauses do form part of the subordinate clause, so these should be included if you're asked to underline a subordinate clause.